Do not open your door at midnight. This is a rule carved into the bones of every soul in this ancient village. Meet Das Babu, a government surveyor sent to a remote village deep in Mayurbhanj, Odisha. He arrived 3 days ago, armed with maps, measurements, and absolutely no belief in local superstitions. The village elders warned him. They always warn outsiders. But Das Babu simply smiled and walked away. Tonight it is exactly 3:14 in the morning. The darkest hour has arrived silently. Das Babu sits alone in the courtyard beside the sacred tulsi plant, the tiny diya flame his only companion. Then something strange happens. The wind completely stops. Every leaf freezes perfectly still. The tropical crickets, singing all night long, go completely and utterly silent in one instant. Then, it comes. 3 heavy thuds pound against his ancient carved wooden door. Knock, knock, knock. Each thud heavier than the last, shaking the rusted iron latch violently. Then silence again. And then, a voice. Soft, familiar, impossibly warm. The voice whispers his name, sounding exactly like his late grandmother who passed away 10 years ago. His hands tremble. His glasses fog. Every rational thought in his mind screams run. The village elders had said this before. Never look through the keyhole after midnight. Never. Because whatever stands outside, it knows your deepest memories. It wears the faces of your loved ones. If you look into that keyhole, the elders whisper, you are already dead. Das Babu slowly rises from the bench. His feet move toward the door against his own will. His trembling fingers reach the latch. What happens if Das Babu opens that door tonight? Das Babu wasn't the first to hear that terrifying knock echoing through the darkness of night. The Odisha police records of 1972 reveal something deeply disturbing hidden within their yellowed pages. 3 local villagers from a remote Odisha village had actually opened that very same door before him. The very next morning, something unimaginable and horrifying was discovered by the authorities. Their bodies were found standing completely upright, frozen in place like stone statues. Eyes wide open, staring endlessly into nothing, their expressions locked in absolute frozen terror. Their skin had turned completely white overnight, drained of all color and warmth. Medical reports filed by authorities offered absolutely no scientific explanation for what had occurred. To find the truth behind this horror, we must travel far back to the year 1921. Deep inside forbidden jungles, far from any village or civilization, something ancient was awakened. A group of powerful tantrics gathered inside a ruined stone temple to perform a forbidden blood ritual. Their chanting grew louder, their ritual fire burning hotter, reaching deep into forbidden dimensions. But something went horribly, catastrophically wrong deep within that sacred forbidden ritual space. They had accidentally torn open a gateway to something ancient, something that should never have been disturbed. From that broken gateway, something began to emerge, slowly stretching its dark form into our world. It was ancient beyond memory, a dark entity that existed long before human civilization itself. The Shadow Witch. A being of pure darkness, hunger, and ancient, unstoppable, malevolent power. They called it the Chaya. And now, decades later, Das Babu had unknowingly invited it inside. The village elders whispered a warning to Das Babu before he ever set foot inside the Mayurbhanj jungle. The elders spoke in hushed, trembling voices, their eyes wide with ancient, unshakable fear passed down through generations. The Chaya has no flesh. She has no bones. She is only darkness given impossible shape. She is a black shape that stretches and grows whenever the fire begins to burn dangerously low. If her silhouette ever steps onto your shadow, your soul belongs to her forever. The elder's hands shook as he described how she moves, silent, patient, and completely unseen. She never shows her face. She hunts only through the darkness she commands entirely. Das Babu adjusted his glasses and smiled. He had heard enough village superstition for one evening. He was a man of modern science, trained to trust only what his instruments could measure and prove. He mocked the village folklore openly, laughing as the elders exchanged deeply worried, fearful glances. That very night, Das Babu packed his canvas tent and marched toward the cursed ancient ruins alone. The Odisha temple ruins rose before him, baby blue and gray stone swallowed by the hungry jungle darkness. He pitched his tent directly outside the cursed ruins, driving stakes into the ancient forbidden ground. The full moon hung heavy above the temple, casting long, cold silver light across the crumbling stone. Inside his tent, Das Babu reviewed his notes, completely unaware of what gathered silently outside. The campfire outside his tent flickered low. The shadows around the ruins began to slowly stretch. He didn't know he was being watched. He didn't know the Chaya had already found his shadow. And somewhere deep in the Mayurbanj jungle, the elders sat in silence, knowing it was already too late. It was the stroke of midnight, deep inside the wilderness, where Das Babu had set up his lone surveying camp far from civilization. Das Babu sat hunched over his survey maps, his kerosene lantern casting warm orange light across the textured canvas walls of his tent. Then, without warning, the temperature inside the tent plummeted. A bone-deep, unnatural freeze crept across every inch of his skin. The flame of his kerosene lantern began to shiver violently, flickering and trembling as if something invisible was breathing directly onto it. Then the impossible happened. The warm orange flame slowly, sickeningly transformed into a cold, ghostly, unnatural shade of pale blue. Das Babu froze completely. Every instinct screamed danger. His eyes darted around the tent walls searching for any rational explanation. His gaze slowly drifted toward the large canvas wall directly behind him, drawn by a feeling he could not explain or ignore. His heart stopped completely. There on the canvas wall was his shadow, but something was horrifyingly, catastrophically wrong with it. The shadow had detached. It no longer mirrored his movements. It stood completely independently, alive with its own terrible dark purpose. Slowly, horribly, the detached shadow began to grow taller, stretching upward far beyond what any natural shadow could ever possibly reach. Then, from the shadow's hands, long, razor-sharp clawed fingers began sprouting outward, curling menacingly in the cold, ghostly blue light. Das Babu pressed himself backward, his chair scraping the ground, his entire body trembling uncontrollably with absolute primal terror. And then the shadow did something that shattered every last fragment of Das Babu's rational, scientific mind, completely and utterly. The shadow's head began turning, slowly, deliberately, rotating independently, twisting around to face Das Babu directly with hollow darkness. Das Babu opened his mouth to scream with every ounce of strength his terrified body could desperately, frantically summon, but no sound came. His voice had vanished completely, swallowed by the unnatural silence that had consumed the entire midnight camp. He was completely alone, completely voiceless, completely trapped with a shadow that had become something ancient, hungry, and terrifyingly alive. How did Das Babu survive that midnight encounter? The answer will leave you breathless. Das Babu was found the next morning, wandering deep inside the jungle, completely lost and trembling with fear. He had survived the night, but something inside him had shattered beyond any possible repair. He never spoke a single word again. Not one whisper, not one cry, not one sound ever left his lips. Today, Das Babu sits alone in a dark room, staring endlessly into a shadowed corner of crumbling mud walls. He watches the shadows move, every single night without blinking, without stopping, without ever looking away. The Chaya did not take his life. She took something far more terrifying. She stole his very reflection. Without a reflection, a piece of his soul was gone forever, claimed by the darkness that hunts the living. The Chaya feeds on reflections, mirrors, water, glass, any surface that dares to show your true face. She is ancient, patient, and relentless. She has been watching from the dark corners since the very beginning of time. So tonight, when you finally turn off your bedroom lights, pay very close attention to what surrounds you. And you see a strange shape slowly move out of the very corner of your eye. Stop. Do not turn. Do not look at it. Whatever you do, do not give it the satisfaction of meeting its terrible, burning gaze. Because she is still out there, lurking, waiting, and hunting for someone brand new to claim tonight. She is looking for a new reflection. She is looking for someone exactly like you, watching alone in the dark. The shadows are alive tonight. They breathe, they stretch, and they reach toward every single flickering light source. The Chaya is patient. She waited for Das Babu. She will wait for you too, however long it takes. Follow. If you Dare. The darkness is watching, and now it knows your face. She already has your reflection. The question is, will you look into the dark corner tonight or will you run?